Fainwick is a wild and untamed land, long avoided by outside forces. The woods are dark and twisting, filled with faint divinities who perform small miracles and services for its inhabitants, but are just as likely to lure travelers off narrow paths to their ruin. Seemingly harmless expanses of field hide bogs that engulf entire armies, consuming heavy artillery as quickly as it can cross the border. The wilderness fosters hardy people who are bold enough to raise families where others have not, and strictly follow the unique rules that keep them safe. These Wicklings remained insulated from their neighbors' wars until plague forced the people of Haven to desperate acts. Haven was once the most powerful force in the region. For centuries, the high stone walls into the capital bore the phrase, "the Godless Gate." While the original meaning has been lost to common knowledge, some dusty tomes and ancient records state that the founders of Haven wished to be free of the influence of the faint divinities that dominated the surrounding regions. They hatched a plan to kill one of the mightiest of these deities, known as Shunash, the Granite Ophid. While their exact method of deicide is forgotten, their victory ensured Haven's dominance in the region for centuries to come. They made their home behind his remains, which became the mighty walls that Haven is known for. But Shunash would have his revenge. As the Havenites carved through his stone body, the fine dust left behind settled into the surrounding earth. There was a time of prosperity over many centuries while the scales of the god remained undisturbed. But progress is its own pressure. The growing population demanded increased productivity, and as farmers tilled deeper, soil and miners hacked into the stone. The ancient stone dust rose to the surface. The same walls that brought the city security became the crucible that incubated a virulent plague. Over the last 2 years, over half of Haven's populace fell to a disease known as the Serpent's Sickness. First, victims cough up dust, and soon after, their skin breaks out in a scaling rash. Finally, their body hardens, first the flesh, bones, and soft tissue, spreading until finally their organs ossify. Once within the organs, the serpent moves so quickly that sufferers petrify where they stand, filling Haven with statues of victims in their last moments of agony. The High Magus of Haven, Archmage Phylax, discovered a rare red flower called the Crimson Lady's Veil that could cure the serpent's sickness. These buds grow prolifically across Fainwick in the spring, but for every 10,000 of the common white-petaled blossoms, only one red flower blooms. Desperate to save their people from the plague, Haven invaded Fainwick to amass the scarce red buds. Their forces plunged into the deep wood and, under the guidance of Archmage Phylax, plucked out the reaping eye from the most powerful faint divinity that protected the land, the great owl Nicta, the shepherd of the seasons. The shepherd kept Fainwick in balance by turning her eyes upon the land, first for ripening, then ruination. Thus, Nicta maintained the cycle of seasons, of growth and decay, of death and rebirth. With her reaping eye removed, Nicta can only watch over Fainwick with the sowing eye, forcing the land into everlasting spring. In the years since, Haven has conquered the bogs, turning them into fields to harvest red flowers. The endless growth that once seemed like a gift quickly evolved into a scourge known as the Witherwild. Fainwick's flora and fauna flourished, unchecked and uncontrolled. Animals swell to massive size, trees warp, twist, and begin to hunt people. And vines creep along the forest floor, strangling all they touch. This explosive growth is unconquerable and unrelenting, with no force able to stop the burgeoning verdants for long. Mycelia and Reishi. You see in front of you a large Qatari who looks a lot like a lion, very leonine. He has a graying mane, and he has an eye patch over his right eye. You can see that this Qatari is fighting the great owl Nikta. As they fight, you watch as he plucks out her eye. Once her eye is plucked from her skull, thick brambles and vines that are black and green in color begin sprouting rapidly from Nikta's eye. The Qatari was consumed by these brambles and vines, and they rapidly approach you and Raishi, even though you're far away from this combat. I'm going to need you both to roll an agility reaction roll.
I critical.
Yeah, as 16 with fear.
16 with fear.
Yeah.
So, both of you, as you see these thick brambles approach you after they just consumed the Qatari, you turn to run. You're running as fast as you can, sweating, panting, the brambles catching closer and closer, biting at your heels.
As the brambles come towards me, can I start to fly?
You hop on your broom. Or no, you flap out your wings, right?
Correct.
All right. Yes, yeah. As you run, you begin to fly, feet leaving the ground. The brambles now have caught up to the spot where you are. If you had not flown, you would not have avoided these brambles. Mycelia running quickly, using her wings, cutting at the brambles as she walks. But then suddenly, the world around you changes. You're from this strange combat that you were watching with these brambles chasing you. Now you're back to a scene of calm. You realize you're flying. You're in the sky, floating up above the land. You're looking at the forest of Fainwick. And you can see these thick, black-green brambles and vines spreading from a singular point within the forest of Fainwick, spreading out in a circular motion, reaching towards the borders of the forest, encroaching onto Haven's territory, until finally it approaches the resting place of Shunash the Great Ophid and starts to consume the city itself. You see a beacon erupt from the center of this city, pressing back this overgrowth. And then, as if mirroring this Witherwild's growth, there's a blast of flame erupts from the city, burning the city itself, consuming the forests. And there's nothing left but ash and cinder. And again, you're transported. You're in unfamiliar streets. There's ashes around you. Homes are in ruin. There are statues of people who look terrified. Ash rains down around you. As you're walking through these ruined streets and you're surrounded by statues, you see that there's a faint beacon, a light from the center of town. As you walk towards that light, you come towards what looks like a shaft, an elevator of sorts. There is an owl with one eye perched on that shaft, watching you.
Do we immediately know this is Nikta?
You suspect that it is Nikta. Or at least an avatar, a representation.
Kind of flustered and out of breath, but not. Look at the owl. Nikta, are you okay?
The owl does not respond.
Is it moving or anything, or can I tell if it's a statue or not? Or is it actually a...
It's not a statue. She is watching you, and she's watching Mycelia, and she's looking from you, and she looks down at the shaft before she takes flight and disappears off into the distance.
Well, I guess we should go into the shaft. So I will start walking that way tentatively.
Okay.
Slowly.
As you tentatively approach this shaft, There's no sound around you. There's a deathly quiet still in the air.
Is it
You
a
think-
shaft that, like you said, it was like an elevator shaft, but is there a platform in it currently, or?
There is currently a platform, yes. But
Okay.
roll. Give me an instinct reaction roll.
For both of us?
Yes.
15 with hope.
19 with hope.
As you guys are walking towards the shaft, focused on it, the deathly quiet around you is suddenly disturbed, but you did not notice fast enough. A hooded, horned figure appears from the shadows and attacks you both. They plunge their dagger deep into your chest, and suddenly the lights turn off, and you're awakened with a start. And you find yourself back at your home, Moonwater Fend, no longer in your dream. The same reoccurring dream that you've had now for weeks, that you received after you pledged yourselves to the protection of this land.
That one felt more real than the last.
Every time, that pain seems sharper. I don't know what Nicta, or not Nicta, I'm sorry. I can't think of the owl's name. Is
Nicta.
trying to tell us. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'm right. Nicta. Nicta's trying to tell us, but there's something she's trying to get us to understand. Something to.
Are we meant to stop this mess? Are we meant to save Haven? We've never even left our fen. This feels too big.
Saving something that doesn't respect our way of life. That doesn't sound.
Why
That
is
doesn't
this on?
sound.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. Being flustered from the dream, still, even. I don't know. It doesn't seem right. I don't know a better way to say it than that.
It can't be the only ones having this dream. So are we? Who is around us? Who do we see?
Looking around you, you see the abandoned Moonwater Fen. It's you and Reishi, and that is it.
Okay.
You're alone here in your former home. As you have now woken up and you're beginning to shake off the brain fog, what does everybody see when we look at Mycelia? Describe your character.
Describe me. Okay, I'm so sorry. I mean, I'm a tall. I'm terrible at explaining things, apparently. I'm a tall humanoid with what seems to be like a very wide-brimmed cap attached to my head. There is no hair underneath the cap. And then from my body, there comes what looks to be leaves sprouting to form a dress or the ends of a skirt. And then I have wings. They are currently tucked, and they look like they don't move much from that position. But Mycelia is yellow and orange, and bright like the sun.
And as you glance over at your sister, who's also looking around, broken by what Moonwater Fen has become, What do we see, Reishi? What does Mycelia see when she looks at you?
Almost the exact opposite of what Marcelia is the her state of the state of the world and the state of her mental being is affected everything about her, physically, mentally, the way she views life. She's everywhere. Marcelia is light, Rishi's dark. She still has the large cap, but she also has silver. It's not hair, but it's more almost smoke around her head that kind of looks like silvery hair, but it's not really hair. It's really fine, really wispy. She's very angular. Her wings flutter behind her. They're like, if she's anxious, they start beating faster. If she's calm, they're nice. They barely move at all. She's dark, form-fitting clothes, dark earthen colors, dark browns, dark greens, dark. Her skin's taken more of a dark purple to red hue. Not completely there, but it's darker. Currently, because she's anxious, the wings are almost lace-like, and currently they're kind of beating a little bit faster than her heartbeat is. So they're expressing her anxiety right now.
All right.
Mycelia will take Reishi's hands in hers because she sees that her wings are beating. She's clearly anxious. She will grab her hands and try and comfort her sister by saying, "We will figure this out, and we will do what needs to be done to bring our home back and to bring whoever we can back. I promise we will do this together."
Ratio sigh, a big deep sigh, trying to calm her heartbeat and calm herself, and then she'll whisper, I know," and she'll big deep calming breaths, and then I have a witch's feature I would like to use called Commune. It says, once per long rest during a moment of calm, you can commune with an ancestor, deity, nature, spirit, or otherworldly being, asking them a question. Then roll a number of d6s equal to your spellcaster's trait, and choose one value from them rolled, and the results reference the chart below.
Right.
So,
all right. Roll your d6s.
okay, so I got a 5 and a 2. So I'll choose the 5. You hear sounds or see a vision relevant to the answer. And my question is going to be to Nikta, looking for a better answer to what she's looking for, what she's asking of us.
What she's asking of you. You see a vision. It's in your third eye. Your eyes kind of cloud over a bit. What Mycelia sees now is your natural eye color has now flashed with almost a clouded gray. You see this everlasting spring, the Witherwild, the black-green, thick growth that you've become accustomed to seeing over the last year or last 2 years. You see it kind of retreating. In this vision, you see what it is a large tree, a tree that you've known for many years. It's a great tree spire that's deep in the Fanewick forest, currently covered in these thick black-green brambles and vines. And you can see that this tree is somewhat wilting in its weight that it's carrying now. It looks sick, it looks diseased. And this infection, the Witherwild, is now retreating back into the land, retreating off of this tree. And as it reaches the ground, it becomes ash and floats away.
So Nicta shows Rishi a tree being consumed by the Witherwild, and the Witherwild retreating, and as the Witherwild retreats, the tree turns into ash, the tree in the land turns into ash.
Yes, so yeah, in the vision, the tree starts covered in this withered growth. So you don't see it become withered, you see it starting withered, and then that growth retreats and dissipates, is destroyed.
Sorry, typing what you're sending me, what you just said.
Can you say that again?
I'm typing what you just said in my journal, so I have it.
Okay.
I'll take a second to take that in, kind of shake off the visions, the cloudiness, and I'll tell Mycelia. I spoke to Nicta again, and she's not much clearer. This time she showed me a vision of a gigantic tree being consumed by the Witherwild, and then suddenly it starts to retreat. As the Witherwild is retreating, the tree in the surrounding areas becomes ash. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know.
How are we meant to do that? Undo 2 years of endless spring and growth and death, and I wish we could get more answers. What should we do? Clearly we've been... Sorry.
I know you're not a fan of, or I know you're not. I know you don't like it, but I think we may need to leave and find help, find like-minded beings, like-minded people to try to make home safe again, because we're no longer safe here.
You might be right. Where should we start? Toward Haven?
I think we have to work our way towards that wretched place and hope.
Okay, as long as we're together, we can do anything. We can save our people, save our home. Even if we have to go to hell first.
As you break conversation and kind of look around and just take in your surroundings of the Moonwater Fen, the everlasting moisture in this ground that's become so comfortable for you, the trees surrounding you, the homes carved into the trees, the burrows underground that were also once homes to different fairies and fungal living in this area, have now been overtaken by dark, twisted branches and trunks that now grow out of these tree homes. It seems as if the tree itself is taking these homes back. The tunnels and the paths that have been carved into these trees as homes have been overtaken with thick, thorny vines. Before you turn to go, Mycelia, you go back to what was once considered your room to grab your locket that you found while you were exploring in Fanewick. You pick up your locket and look at the familiar image. An upturned crescent moon beneath the skull of a deer. And the deer has piercing, glowing emerald eyes. And there are thick brambles covering the background behind the skull. What are you guys feeling in this moment, looking around at your home?
I think Mycelia is feeling hopeful. I think she is very not enthusiastic, but hopeful that the future will turn out the way that she would like it to. Hopeful that she will be back in this place in a better time, and things will be back to normal.
I think she kind of at the moment is mirroring Mycelia's mood, but also worried about where it's going to take them, where this newfound problem is going to take them and how they're going to solve it.
Yeah.
All right. So, as you are thinking about the future, you begin walking away from the Moonwater Fen. You hear approaching footsteps, rapid footsteps, multiple footsteps, one set, two sets. Something's being chased. You hear both of the footsteps stop and the loud yelp from behind a bush.
I will draw my weapon and say, who goes there?
What is your weapon?
It's the I think it's a
What does it look like?
quarterstaff. Oh, for sure. It looks just like bark. It looks very natural, so it looks like a big stick, very big, with vines wrapped around it, and a yellow, what looks to be a sunflower on the top, encased in an orb, a clear orb.
Okay. Oh, I should spend. As you approach, you're walking towards it, you snap a twig beneath your feet, and you hear a snarling, a large black creature with leather-like skin begins to walk towards you. It's something you've seen quite a bit here in Fainwit. It's a long, pronounced canine-like snout with long fangs jutting out of the sides, massive lion-like claws, two tails that extend out with two circular pads at the tips. As it sees you, it bears down, ready to pounce. And it will do just that. It starts running towards you from close distance, leaps out to try to strike at you with its claws. Does a 17 hit?
What is that, my evasion?
Yes.
Yes.
As this Wolfian comes at you and attempts to claw you, you try to get out of the way. It reaches out with its claws, striking you across the chest, raking you. You take 7 physical damage.
So I'm going to.
So, I'm sorry, give me 1 second, Rishi. So, you took 7 physical damage,
Yeah.
which is, where is that? Is that below your minor threshold? Or is it?
It doesn't have.
No, I mean, I have stuff. you. So your minor is 7, so it meets
Okay.
it. So that's now major damage that's doing. You can use an armor to reduce that to minor if you want, or you can take the major damage, which is 2
2 hit. Yeah.
2 hit points. So what would you like to do?
I will I'll use an armor to only take 1.
Okay.
And I will hit it with my staff.
Real quick, because I think it's a reaction. It says when the creature causes an ally in close range to mark a number of hit points, I can mark a stress to cause them to be hexed. Can I do that before she attacks?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna mark a stress to cause them to be hexed, and action or damage rolls against the hexed creature gain a bonus equal to my tier, so they get +1 to action and damage rolls against the hexed creature.
Nice. Is that just you, or is that your party?
Anybody that attacks the hexed creature.
Right on. Okay. Where'd that rag go? All right, Marcelia, go ahead. What are you doing?
I
There it is.
am taking the end of my staff and trying to plunge it, I guess, in this thing's eye since it's on me.
Yeah.
To try and like fight it off or get him to be a little distracted so I can get back to my feet. Okay. So if it's instinct, I add instinct.
Yes.
Okay. 21 with hope.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Cool. Okay.
Make sure you take that hope.
I have 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. I'm so sorry. 8.
8. All right, how do you attack it?
I mean, like I said, so it attacked me. I'm assuming I'm on the ground.
Oh, did you add your hexed damage?
Oh no, I didn't. How much is that?
Which, Rishi, remind us, it's +1?
Correct. It's equal to my tier, so I'm tier 1.
Okay.
So
So then +9. Or I'm so sorry. It's
9
9
damage.
9 damage.
All right.
I'm assuming it's on top of me. I'm laying on my back, so I will take my staff and stab its eye, like with all the force that I possibly can. And I'm assuming like I'm also trying to kick it off. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. As you do so, yeah, you reach back with your staff and get as much distance as you possibly can. You plunge the end of your staff into its eye, and you find purchase, and you get that perfect shot, popping its eye, knocking it into its skull. There's blood dripping out of it now, and you're kicking yourself off of it,
Nice.
pulling yourself backwards. That was a pretty severe blow.
So as the fish knocks the...
I will spend a fear
Okay.
to spotlight once again. So the Wolfian, now being hurt by this creature, didn't like that. He's going to turn and look towards the other in this fight. It will run at you, Rishi, and I will mark a stress to do a withered strike. That's going to be not enough. Does a 6 hit?
No.
No, it does not. So as it comes at you, its tail that you didn't notice before because it was slightly obscured. The normal black leathery skin that you're used to seeing on these Wolfians is more bark-like than you've ever seen it before. It's got, the same black and green woven bark that you see all around the forest around you. And the tip of its tail, which is usually a pretty dull point, is actually rather sharp and has a slight drip, a dark green drip to it. It lashes out with its tail. How do you evade the attack?
I'll kind of scream no, and it's in response to both her being attacked and it coming to me. And I'll expand my wings and push backward, almost push, like fly backwards, up and out.
Okay, right on.
And then as I'm screaming no, I'll put my hand out and wave my hand kind of in a quick kind of swooshing check and cast Blighting Strike at it.
Okay.
That's a 23 with
That
hope.
will hit.
For 4 damage.
4 damage. All right, don't forget to take the hope.
Also, let's see. So on a success, target takes 1d6, which is 4 plus 1 plus 2 damage because he's hexed. Using my proficiency. Okay, yeah. And the next time the target deals damage to an ally, it is reduced by half. The next time that, I'm sorry, whatever the beast is, deals damage to me or Mycelia, the damage it deals is halved.
Okay. So, as you lash out with this blighting strike, you're in the air at the moment. You just flew back to avoid the strike. You reach back out with the blighting strike. What does it look like as you blight this creature?
It's a quick burst, clouded burst of green and black and purple energy. It just kind of explodes from my hand into the chest of the beast. Kind of like just almost like a punch, but with a cloud of spell energy.
Okay. So, as you do that, using this blighting strike to even further help push away in your evasion, that force knocks this Wolfian off of its feet, and it's right in the chest, and you can actually see the rib cage on this creature break and collapse just a little bit. It falls to the ground, now on its back, whimpering in pain, no longer able to fight back. But it is still alive.
Okay. I will walk up and look it in the eye and say, like, rest well, friend. And then I will quickly, I guess, stab it with my... Sorry, I don't like saying this. Stab it with my short staff, probably right in its heart, to try and just end it so that it's not suffering.
All right. As you do that, you hear the guttural death rattle of this Wolfian as it succumbs. Once you land this killing blow, you step back because you know what's coming next. The ground around it. These tendrils come up from the ground and begin to wrap around the Wolfian's body. Slowly. And as it begins to wrap around, it starts to pull it back into the ground, as if it's just morphing through the floor.
Mycelia is shedding many tears right now.
I'll fly back down by Mycelia and place my hand around her. I'm like, it's okay, Sally. It's okay. What needed to be done.
Okay. After a few minutes of grieving for this poor animal, we will continue on the path. Actually, I'm so sorry. I would like to heal. I'm trying to see. I do have healing, but never mind, because I don't want to spend all 3 of my hope yet.
Okay. All right. As you guys continue your journey towards New Haven, we now focus on a different person also living in the Fainwick region. Sir Therian.
Yes.
So there is a mongrel who is rather stout, probably only 3 or 4 feet tall. They're very wide. They have a very large, wide brim, a hat. Well, a mushroom hat, not a hat, but it looked like a wide brim straw hat, but 4 different petals, leaves.
Close enough.
Yeah. As they approach you, you're outside your current abode, where you live, just in the forests of Fainwick, in a less infected area. What does this fungrel see as they approach you?
He sees a broad, tall, seemingly hooded figure standing in front of him. He can see between the shadows of the hood the long golden beard and the piercing silver eyes of Arian. On his back he sees the large round shield, and at his hip a curved axe. What would be too long for most people, but at his size is about right.
All right. This fungrel approaches you. Looks around just to make sure no one else is watching. Sir Therian. Is that you?
Yes. Why do you search for me?
I have a message for you through the network.
Oh boy, what do they want this time?
Something about your family. Your family in New Haven wanted to reach out to you. They said something about the time has come for them to leave New Haven. They must escape. Please help them. They say that someone named Archmage Phylax is stopping by their smithy more and more, asking for your whereabouts. They say something about their smithy was ransacked, there was many things stolen, an attempt to burn it down. I don't know how you would do that to a smithy, but all they said is that they need to get out of there.
Well, at least you maintain a sense of humor as you bring such grim news.
Well, these days you kind of have to.
Where am I supposed to meet them?
Well, I'm just the messenger, but they are in New Haven currently, and it kind of sounds like they're in a bit of trouble, so I don't know.
Best I move quickly then. Pretty much everything I need is already on. I turn back and kind of take one quick look. There's really nothing back there that would be of too much importance. So, lead the way.
Oh, I'm not coming with you. I live here. Like I said, I'm just delivering the message. Was sent to me from New Haven. So I'm gonna go home now. Oh.
Alright then, guess it'll be another trip without company.
Oh, they did mention something. What was it? They said something about an old friend of yours probably be a good person to help. Wartide. Something like that.
Can't remember the last time I heard that call sign. Can't say I remember where he is. Haven't heard from him in a while.
Well, have a good trip. Be safe out there, and may Nick to watch over you. And that he'll turn to leave. Yeah.
Alright. As I begin walking down the path towards New Haven, I take a few slow steps in thought. Wartide. Haven't spoken to him in years. Last I heard, he was still teaching those youngsters. Don't know how far he got with them. Where could he be now?
As you begin walking, you see an owl perched on a tree branch. And this owl has one eye. And it looks at you and it's cocking its head.
How peculiar. Can't say there's many of you around.
As you're speaking out to it and it's looking at you, you're very aware that New Haven, you know exactly where it is from your direction. You know that it's straight northeast where you are right now. This owl, it looks at you, and instead of cocking its head and looking kind of animal-like, it looks at you, and it's almost as if its eye changes just slightly. It's piercing now deeply. And then it turns and flies away in a direction that's close to Haven, but not quite.
I'm gonna hope that's coincidence. Though, from what I've heard, it's probably not. Seems I might have to move a little faster this time. And as he says that, he kind of tightens the wrap to his axe, tightens the straps for his shield, and quickens his pace.
Alright. And what direction are you following?
Just going straight towards Haven. The faster he gets there, the faster he can help people.
As you are approaching Haven, you begin to consider that you haven't been to New Haven for a little while, and there's a pretty good reason for that.
Man, I can't believe these guys are still back. I figured I threw them off the scent the last time. Well, then again, if they're trying to burn a smithy, they sound pretty desperate. Should know by now I do all my own sharpening myself, though they never seem to pay too much attention. I'd hoped moving out would mean nobody else got hurt. I could see I was wrong. Hope they don't go after that small town. Much more peaceful there.
As you continue down towards this road, the overgrowth begins to set in. You know, you were in a portion, or at least that they've tried to clear out over the last year. It keeps coming back, encroaching more and more into this path. And you're having trouble finding your way, navigating here. I want you to roll instinct.
Alright. That is an 8 with hope.
An 8 with hope. So, as this growth begins to, what feels like close in around you, starts to suffocate you, the heat, the humidity, you're thrown off of your direction. You're not sure where to go anymore. It's difficult to see the sky at all through the thick canopy above you. And you try to think, you try to focus, find your sense of direction, and it's escaping you at the moment. But seems not all is lost, because once again, you see an owl. Possibly the same owl. You don't recall the last time you've seen 2 owls in one day. They're not too common around here right now. But this one-eyed owl looking at you again, piercing, flies off in a direction through the forest.
A guide, perhaps. I don't remember the same gods being too kind to those of my stature, but I'll take what I can get. I'm gonna follow that direction.
Okay. So you continue your journey into the deep forest. You take your axe off of your side and you hold it in your hands. You know that you need to be ready for anything in this forest. Balaam, you're settling in for a peaceful life as a hermit. You've now served 30 years to Haven. Soldier, general, mentor, teacher. You've had many roles for them. And finally you've decided it's time. I take time for myself. You live currently just east of New Haven. A very simple cottage in a secluded grove. There are vines that grow up the walls of your abode. And we find you now cooking for yourself. You're cutting up vegetables and seasoning the meat. You break off a little piece, feed it to your Marlboro on your shoulder. What's going through your mind as you are trying to pretend to be this tame hermit, no longer the wartide?
It seems I'm not that good of a cook as I last remembered. This is the second time trying this dish. Still doesn't taste very well. We've used up the rest of our orange blossom. It's no more vanilla either. I don't want to keep on having eggs every day with no seasoning. That was nice living in the city, having some kind of service, free meals, guides when I'd like, little coin when I wish to spend it. But it is quiet out here and much easier to read than the library in Haven. But it seems if we really want to dig our feet in Marlborough, we're going to have to go back and plan some things out. Maybe purchase a few more stockades. some extra rations. While we get this settled with a little more foundation.
As you cook and talk out loud to your friend, you sit down at your table with your meal that you've been tasting as you go. Not quite as satisfied with it as you would like to be, but it's all right. It's good enough. You set your plate down, set your arms down next to your plate before you eat. Just to the left of your plate, you see the letter that was recently delivered to your door.
Yeah, I forgot about this. Well, don't really want to, but suppose we should read and see what it says.
You open the letter. It's been here for a couple of days now.
It's a little stale, but still manageable to read some of it.
You unfurl the parcel. It's a small, concise letter from a name that you've heard. Someone named Spymaster Cray. You know this person. You know this Simeon. He's not well liked in Haven, but he does his job very. He's a master of secrets, master of spies. From what you hear, it's very possible that Haven itself would crumble if it weren't for Spymaster Cray's work. He writes to you, the gist of the letter. Wartide, I need you to come speak with me in New Haven. We received some extremely concerning information that I will not write down. I need you to come to me to New Haven. Bring a couple other people with you who know how to handle themselves in a fight. Come speak with me. All I can say is that it's about the Fane Wraith.
He's always persistent, the spy master, but he is thorough. If he wants the job done correctly, he knows who to contact. I can admire that about him, but other people, he should know I live out here alone with just me and my plants. It's always been us for our whole life. I don't see why I should live or fight with other people any longer, but who do I still know? There's the Green Razor, but I believe he fell a few years ago. Swallowed up by a cavern, if I remember. There is the Towering Elf. Surely he's still alive. Don't think anyone would kill him. Rosewall Sentinel, I believe. Iron Fang. Surely he's alive. Don't remember seeing him in Haven, though.
As you're speaking out loud, again, as you're accustomed to, always talking with Marlborough, pick up your fork and your knife, prepare a bite, you're about to dig in. You hear a knock at the door.
Well, that's not very nice. Surely they saw the sign. I'll grab my staff and slowly turn up and put down my thing, and like my little bare feet will slowly start itching around, and I'll just kind of like try to look through some of the cracks if I can and see if I could see any figures or shadows. And I'll approach the door and just kind of open it quietly with a nice little spell cocked right behind the door where they couldn't see. Yes,
You open the door. When you open the door, from behind the door, Therian, you hear the familiar voice of Balin call out to you.
Well, hold on a minute. Do I recognize that voice? Old as it may be.
Surely I didn't just summon you. I just spoke your name and here you are. I haven't even had that long to practice this spell, but Seems I've gotten a head start. I hope I didn't put you out. Were you doing anything important? Let's see if his pants are on.
Well, I was attempting to head to New Haven. I didn't expect this to be who I found. But in any case, nice to see you, old friend.
You too, Therion. I was just telling my friend that surely you're alive, but I wouldn't imagine you've gotten bigger. Come on in if you could fit. I have a little bit of ale left and a little bit of food if you'd like to come on in. We could chat.
Sure. And are you sure it's me who's gotten taller, or you who've gotten smaller?
Surely not. Well, come on in, make yourself at home. Well, find yourself traveling to Haven. I haven't seen you there in many years.
Therian, as you're stepping into the door, you step inside and take one look behind you, and you see that owl that you have now followed for what feels like days, guiding you through the forest as you continuously lose your way through its thick, dense brush. Kind of give it a nod. It's a curious owl. And it flies away once again, off into the forest.
It's a nice view out the back, isn't it? Got some roses started and a few vegetables.
I never knew you to be such the green thumb.
Well, you know, keeping up with Marlboro's a lot of work. Had to do quite a lot of investigation, but this area seems well suited. There's many friendly folk who've helped me along the way when brown spots have appeared on either him or myself. So it's been to our advantage, but we're thinking out here we could flourish much easier without, the rhetoric that you and me are still trying to get caught up in.
You can say that again. I had intended to stay far away from that place, but I had recently heard apparently Phylax is trying to burn down a smithy of all places. Definitely wasn't his smartest move. Seems he's desperate to find me.
Certainly not smart, but if he was trying to garnish your attention, he definitely succeeded. Odd way of doing it, but successful nonetheless. Take a look at this if you don't mind. If you could still read, that is.
Just because I'm tall doesn't mean I'm dumb.
Well, I know you're not as fancy as you once were way back in your day, are you?
Come on now, you know how I was raised.
I remember we used to make fun of your accents when you give us daily reports that day after the siege. We had a quiet laugh, but we all knew not to let you hear us.
Would you like me to try one of those accents again? For old time's sake.
Take a look at the letter first, and perhaps your mood may change.
He takes the letter, and quite a bit smaller in his hands. He kind of just takes a couple fingers to prop it open as he reads through it. Whoa. Can't say it's made my mood any worse.
I apologize, I knew it wouldn't, but it finds me as ill as it did you. It's odd that the head spy master would try to contact me, yes? After all these years, he knows I'm retired.
You act like they ever cared much.
True, I suspect it's one of the cadets. Needs a spanking, or perhaps needs a new way of looking at things, but it would be nice to travel with somebody besides the plant for once. Would you be interested in traveling to Haven together, possibly?
I don't see why not. I hope you still remember some of your illusions, in case anyone thinks they might recognize me.
I've started to learn a lot new variations. It finds without the military and the college there within Haven, it's allowed to explore a lot new adventurous, refined spells, but perhaps, with our experience, I'm sure we can make it there safely.
Safely is not my concern. It's when we're inside is the problem. In case you forgot, I don't know if I'm the most well-liked there anymore.
It's true, I do remember hearing rumors of the fancy family of yours, the conspiracies and some of the history behind your kind, but I never looked much into them. I was always caught admiring your height. Never will anyone else see an elf as tall as you. It's quite interesting.
Well, having a long ancestry of half-giant helps.
I could see, but thankfully you didn't get much of their looks. Just a little bit around the eyebrows, I'd say.
And lucky for me, the hair. Elf genes don't help much with that. Baby faces.
Well, we'll find a lady your size one day, I'm sure. This place may be Haven. Grab some supper. I do have a few supplies here, not much. I was just getting ready to head back myself for some supplies. It seems I've misplanned my first foregoing at the hermit life, but with the headmaster contacting us, I'm sure there's some coin involved.
Never did pick up hunting, did you?
Much easier to farm, my friends. All you have to do is step outside and it's already ready.
Well, at least you found something to dirty your robes.
Yes, but it does get quiet out here, and I am missing a few spell books, and a few of my pages have been damaged, so I'm ready now if you'd like. I just need a glass of water before we leave, I suppose. Not too far off, but the weather is unpredictable as of late.
Grab me 2 of those waters, if you wouldn't mind.
I'll
I feel
go.
like it's been forever since I've found anything worthwhile in terms of a path.
Sure, just give me a moment, and I'll go to like my little makeshift well, and I'll get myself a normal size cup, and I'll go up through some of my cupboards, but surely I have something. This is it. And I'll pull out like a big wooden bucket, and I'll start filling that up with water, and I'll raise it up to him as he's, at least double my height. Didn't fill it up, but it's pretty fresh out here. Still uncorruptible with the well I've established, but enjoy and we'll be off.
As you're doing this, discussing your trip to New Haven, getting the well from the water, your wheels are turning. Roll a knowledge, or give me a knowledge roll. Balaam.
Straight up crit, 16. 22.
You remember right away. It's not often spoken about, and it's not well known. But you're well seasoned. You've been around New Haven long enough to know about this. The sewer system underneath New Haven. There's a lot more goes on down there than just drainage. There's ways into the city, in and out of the city through that sewer system, secret entrances, but you know about them.
I do remember some of the thugs and some of the underground merchants. I think it was more than a decade ago, but they were attempting to, lace or steal something through some tunnels. I'm sure they still exist, but if we wanted to sneak into the city, that would get us to most major of the gates, I believe. You could at least
Definitely sounds preferable if I could fit.
Are you really that worried about entering the city? You think you'll be noticed right away?
You said it yourself. There's not many of my stature.
Well, I could think of some stuff perhaps, but let us be on the way to the journey. When we start to see the high gates, we'll have a little more sense. Perhaps we'll be raiding. We could walk right in.
And perhaps I'll see some of my old contacts, those merchants you mentioned. Could have sworn there was one that my family always talked to. Never got too close to him.
Probably
Got sent off.
lineage were not all so tall, but very wise and crafty. You know when to step in and what to avoid.
So, as you're having this next conversation, you'll begin your journey, begin walking towards the direction of New Haven through this thick strip of forest that separates your abode and New Haven. So, as you're walking and talking and reminiscing, Therian, you step and the ground feels slightly different. You look down and you see a vine, a familiar vine, black with light green stripes on it, needle-like tendrils at the end. It wraps around your ankle and it begins to pull you down to the ground. Give me a finesse roll.
Is this a reaction or a normal roll?
Yeah, it's a reaction roll.
Okay. That is holy 2.
Holy two. Alright. As you feel it wrapping around your ankle, it pulls sharply, knocking you off your feet. You fall to the ground, and it's wrapping tighter and tighter around your leg, crawling upwards, up until it gets wrapped around your torso, and you are now restrained by this vine coming out of the ground. And I'll spend another fear. An additional vine comes out of the ground, wrapping around your neck, and you can feel it growing tighter and tighter, and it's starting to try to pull you into the dense brush.
Balaam, little hope. God, I've hated these fucking vines.
It seems like you almost got him. You sure you need help already?
I'm pretty sure.
All right.
As the vine tightens on my
Grab
neck.
Staff, let me brush myself off. It's so early in the morning still, and
As Balaam is taking his time, enjoying this moment, watching his old friend be constrained by these vines, you're being pulled into the forest. As you're trying to wriggle yourself free, roll a instinct or a strength roll, not a reaction roll.
19 with fear.
Fear. I will take that fear. As you are struggling, trying to break yourself out of this, the thick vine that is wrapped around your torso and pin your arms down, you release your arms, you break your arms out of its grasp.
God, you really are old. As I reach down to grab the axe, spin it so the blade kind of faces towards me, and then strike almost above my head to try and get at the vine that holds my neck.
Okay, roll for an attack.
13 with fear.
Fear, I'll take that. You do indeed, as you you move your head out of the way, thrust that axe up. You do chop the vine, and it snaps. And as you know, as it breaks in half, you see those ripped, frayed ends now beginning to braid back up and form again. You know it's going to try to lash back out at you.
I'm gonna point my finger forward and just do a very simple little light beam, and just try to brace the side of where it's starting to wrap around his neck. Try to just break the thickest cord without clipping his ear if I can.
Okay.
And, I'm going to spend a hope, and I'm going to cast Arcane Barrage. I'm trying to roll damage. Oh, just one. Okay. 3 damage.
3 damage. All right, as your missile, your arcane missile, flies out of you, strikes the vines that are beginning to form back together in one half of it. It just hits the ends that are beginning to braid back together, and it just becomes smoke, just obliterates it. And the other half of the vine, now its other half gone, it begins to retreat back into the ground. It knows that it's lost. It will not feast today.
I'll walk up to him and plant both of my feet really deep down and put both of my hands down and start to just give him enough momentum to stand up on his own but back off so he doesn't accidentally fall on me. So, the rumors of the chipped fang are true, I'm afraid.
Disappointing that you've heard about those already.
I try not to pay attention to gossip, but you know how New Haven is. Everyone's in your ear, trying to get your attention with this or that. Are you okay?
Can't say falling helped me too much. As he tries to stretch his back out. It's been too long since I've gotten to swing this axe. Well, at any worthwhile target.
I haven't casted offensive magic in quite some years myself. You know the stool. They're always enforcing defense and defense. So boring. So unexciting. Oh, if only I could teach them the real stuff. That would be grand. Nonetheless, watch your step. Let us continue, pal.
I remember when you used the old stuff.
Fun, right? Exciting. You never knew if it was going to be you or the enemy. Add an extra level of excitement to a mundane battle. After so
Except when you
many,
hit me in the head.
sometimes you get in the way. We both admire your stature for different reasons.
All right, as you continue on your journey and you finally crest a ridge, you know you're close to the city now. You can
Sorry.
see a break in the forest line. In the distance now, still probably a mile away from you, you can see the massive walls of New Haven. They're made from a dark gray stone. They have a red trim around the wall. What makes them truly unique, though, are the almost translucent blue bones of Shunosh the Granite Ophid that are built into these walls. They encircle the city and provide an extra layer of protection and a stark reminder. The head of Shunosh dwarfs the city, forever doomed to look upon the city made in his bones.
As intimidating as ever, I'd say. You?
Well, I wish I could say I take pride in it. Apart from the fact that, well, now it's kind of come back to bite us, the whole thing.
True. We did some regrettable things in our day to establish this, but it was honest work, and well, we both know our circumstances, and it was probably the best for us both to join something organized and disciplined. Too bad it was Haven.
Well, I can certainly say my family's history has probably done more than most.
I would agree. Just hope it doesn't catch back up to us too early. I see a few scouts, but I can't make any of their faces out. You?
I've never been good with faces. I have good ears, not good eyes.
Well, let's go around to a lonely part and see what the other side looks like for a moment. Perhaps we could get lucky. If not, I know the sewer entrance. There's one under a well, just beyond that side.
Well, your guess is as good as mine.
Well, I could just walk right in. Should I gather you at nighttime? We could meet in the grape market, perhaps?
If you think that'll be easier for you, I'd prefer we don't split. Mainly because you can save me if any of them get too close.
Well, I do have an order to bring people in. I only brought in one, I could say. It's the best I could do. It's up to you, my friend. I think I could get us through the city, but if you really want me to travel down here with no shoes on, of course, I will do it with you.
It's not my fault you always packed light.
It's our heritage. Anything on our feet just will not stop itching and scratching and tickling. It's unbearable. Really torture, I'd say. All right, well, let us make a way around this other side. Perhaps we could sneak into one of the more comfortable sewer entrances. A little more dry.
You're not called the war tide for being dry.
It's been a long time since I've been wet like that. I almost miss being sick from the salt.
And with that, that was great. We will once again shift as Balaam and Therian walk around the outskirts of the city towards these other sewer entrances that they know of, hugging closely to the actual forest line, the Wither line, because what you see ahead of you, the expanse in front of you, burnt trees and ashes, because you know that Haven, they burn the Witherwild as it approaches to keep themselves safe. But Nikta you find yourself in the great city of Borrelia, the crown jewel of Haven, Bainwick's promised city. There's Haven guards roaming the street, the bustling Mecca. You have a target. You don't always take bounties. You do a lot of dirty work. But the point is good. You received a bounty from a Haven man called Varys. He's looking for someone named Darren. This is a person, he's a fawn. This fawn has short, clean hair, a shaved face. They have horns completely filed down. Granted, that is an old description. Darren was last seen in a Fainwick village called Pondwell, or as you know it today, the ruins formerly known as Pondwell. The only other clue that you had was that when this target, Darren, was escaping Pondwell, Haven forces reported seeing an ornate fiddle sticking out of his pack.
Okay.
All right, Nikta. You have your target. You're in the city.
Okay. Is there any chance I can convince Barris to pay me for my services ahead of time? Contract me out, give me that incentive, and I'll do the rest.
When you were talking to Barris, when he gave you this job, do a presence roll.
Okay. Okay, so I have a +1 for presence. And let's see. to 10 with hope.
10 with hope. So take that hope. I'm not happy about it, but damn it, I want this guy. How about this? Give you part of it now and the rest when you return.
Okay. I can work with that, Barris.
So he grabs a bag, puts 5 handfuls of gold into a bag for you.
Okay. One more thing. What is this Darren? What did he do? Why is he worth 10 bags?
You always ask this many questions. Listen, if I wanted conversation, I'd go to a different part of the city.
Information helps, but
That's
I'll
fair.
do the work.
All you need to know is he's a criminal in the eyes of Haven. You find him, you bring him to me, you'll get the rest of your money. And maybe you'll make a name for yourself here.
Fair enough. I don't need the name, but I'll take the experience. I leave Barris to his work.
All right, then flashback, or forward again, back to Varelia. So, as you take in your surroundings here, this city of Varelia was carved out of a great white mountain called Valthon Rise. The city was carved directly into the mountain. There's tall, beautiful towers and buildings. Valthon, the capital building, has a shining golden dome. The white stone of these towers and buildings are complemented by a royal blue paint. Looking around, you've been to New Haven. That's where you spoke with Barris. You don't really see terrified statues in the street here. You do see Haven guards still walking up and down the street. You see some statues here and there. A lot less terrified than the people in New Haven. But very, very few statues.
Okay, and this is a different city. This is Balthon. And
This city is Varelia.
Okay, so same city where I saw Barris, just a different part.
No, you received the job from Barris in New Haven.
In New Haven. Okay.
And now you've made your way through investigations. You've tracked down Darren to
I see.
Varelia.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so Nikta has entered the city. She knows she's about her work. She has her suspicions about Darren because she's been here and there, knows a face or two. So she's looking, but also listening for a familiar sound as she walks the streets of Varelia.
All right, make an instinct roll.
Okay, so a +2 for instinct. Uh, 19 with hope.
Nice. All right, take that hope. As you're walking through the streets, listening to people's conversation, keeping a low profile, you can hear common, repeated conversation. Apparently, there's somebody who's gaining quite a bit of fame in the Fanewick's music scene. the one and only, the notorious Fiddlefingers, is playing here tonight in Varelia.
All right. I don't always mix works with pleasure, but I've heard good things about this Fiddlefingers. Oh no, I've witnessed Fiddlefingers. Nikta tries to keep up if Fiddlefingers is around, because she likes his tunes. They remind her of things, and she's wondering if Fiddlefingers is this Darren, or if Darren is an alias of whoever Fiddlefingers is, and hoping it doesn't come to that. Yeah, she's hearing about. Is she hearing about a specific location for a performance, or where people last saw Fiddlefingers?
You've heard two names of locations kind of being thrown around. You've heard the name the Crocodile thrown out a bit. Passing by conversations, somebody saying, "Oh, I love the music at the Crocodile. The food is pretty good, but it's so intimate and it's historic and it's original to Varelia. Love the Crocodile." You hear other conversation. "Oh yeah, I spend most of my nights at the Thirsty Jester, of course. I'm not too big on music. They have some good people playing there from time to time, but it's always a bit of a surprise. And to be honest with you, I don't think most of us remember half the time because we're all too blinding, stinking drunk at the Thirsty Jester."
Okay.
But I will keep going back, by gods, until Ellie becomes my wife. But I've yet to get her from behind that bar. Come sit with me.
Aw.
You find yourself lingering a little bit on that random person because you're just drawn in for some reason.
Yeah. The feeling of unrequited love is something Nikta is a little familiar with, and I think that she smiles in recognition of that resonating with someone else, and then the smile kind of withers as she thinks about other things related to that, and goes back into work mode. Is Varelia a city that I've been to before?
You tell me. Has Nikta been to Varelia before?
Nikta's traveled around. If she's been here before, it's probably been brief. So I don't know that she's been to these locations, but maybe she has a good idea of where to go. Maybe a central area for the Thirsty Jester.
Okay. Yeah. Roll. Give me a knowledge roll. See if you can try to recall if you have passed by the Thirsty Jester at some point.
All right, you found my Achilles heel. -1 in knowledge. That is a 6 with fear.
With fear? Okay, I will take that fear. You can't recall a time specifically when you walked by the Thirsty Jester. You probably have, but on your previous trips to Varelia, it was brief, mostly about business. You weren't here to have a drink and have a good time. But
Okay.
you're an assassin. You have experience. You're wise. You know at least you know how to navigate your way a bit. You spend the next couple of hours, you follow some signs. You find kind of a bit of a central area. There's a lot of people walking around.
I'll lean up against, the edge of a building along an alley and just kind of observe. Look for people that are a little intoxicated, or where people that are a little less well off might be congregating or heading towards, and try to pay attention to those for clues.
As you scope out your surroundings, you do see a group of off-duty Haven guards stumbling their way. Even with the sun up, they probably work a night shift or something. They're off-duty. You see them stumbling the street past you, laughing, heading back probably to the barracks. I think they're ready to turn in for the night.
All right, I head in the direction they left from.
And then in the opposite direction, you see a group of 4 or 5 younger people, kind of boisterous, a little excited, and they look nice. They're dressed pretty nice.
Okay. Are they heading in the opposite direction of the guards, or are they heading in another direction that's not directly where the guards came from?
They are heading pretty much directly opposite of where those guards came from.
Okay. Well, let's cross something off the list, and I will slowly walk behind the young people, so as not to draw their attention, but to keep them in my sights and see where they go, see where they lead me.
All right. Roll presence. Give me a presence roll. As
Okay.
you try to keep a low profile here.
+1 for presence. 16 with hope. Oh, 17 with hope because of the +1.
17 with hope. All right. Yeah, you successfully, you keep your distance. Anytime that they might even angle their heads towards you a little bit, you know how to blend in with the shadows here and there.
Dark clothing helps.
The dark clothing certainly helps. Finally, they turn into the Thirsty Jester. There's a sign out front. It is a sign of a jester, and there's a mechanism that's causing the arm on the jester to constantly move up and down. And that arm is holding a mug of ale. And that jester, in the wide grin, just constantly, forever drinking.
Nicta looks at that, and I don't know if she's ever seen anything like that. She would certainly remember it. An inn with, with a machine. Interesting. Hey, it probably adds to the appeal for the townsfolk here. Okay. What does it look like on the outside? Is it big windows? Is it standalone? Is it stuck between other buildings?
It's definitely stuck between other buildings. It's a bit shorter than the buildings around it, and this one's not carved out of the normal white stone around the rest of the city. This one is built from a much darker stone, obviously taken probably later from a different place. And there's also a lot of wood element to the building as well. There's a doorway. There's no windows here. It's a little seedy, for sure.
Okay. Well, there's no reason to look for a back entrance. So I'll walk in the front. I'll look in through the window as I get to that door and just see what the inside looks like, what I can tell from a glance. Enter the establishment.
All right. Yes, as you enter, you go inside and it's a very loud party atmosphere, right? There's people shouting. There's possibly a fight going on in the corner. You're not completely sure. They're either great old friends or enemies. Who knows? You can see like the designs on like the chairs and the tapestries hanging. There's a red, green, and purple Argyle design, gold inlay. Very typical with medieval style designs here. There's not too many tables. The bar. There's a pretty large bar. Lot of barrels of ale behind it. Not too many bottles of wine. There is a stage. It's only a slightly raised stage. Not doesn't seem to be the focal point of the Thirsty Jester. Everything is kind of more directed towards the bar. And looking at the bar, you see a dwarven woman with very large, frizzy, fiery red hair. She wears a cap. She's wearing a lower cut shirt to try to maybe get better tips possibly from other drunken bar goers. She's also very loud. She's constantly cleaning glasses that never actually get completely clean. But she's pouring casks of ale, looking over her shoulder, smiling, laughing, talking loudly to everybody. And she sees you come in and she says, "Oh, look what the winds of Nicta blew into town. Come take a seat, honey."
I'm looking at the establishment. I'll say I'd gladly take that seat. Is there somewhere I can get cleaned up first?
Somewhere you can get cleaned up first. Do you know where you are, dearie? This is the Thirsty Jester. Look at that man over there. He literally has shit on his face right now. This isn't that kind of place.
Okay.
But
well,
there is a washroom in the back.
There we go. I'd be glad to make use of it if you could show me.
Sure, of course. So yeah, she'll come out from like the side of the bar, lift up a table, whatnot, and walk past. And there's a room. It's pretty much just a door. Well, it's like a back door to an alley, and there's like a large wash base, like a basin in this alley. She goes,
okay.
Nothing fancy, but it'll do.
Okay. And did I see anything else, like a kitchen, closet, storage? Is there like an inn, like above? Like, did I see anything else as far as the layout?
You saw a pretty minimal kitchen. They have facilities to do some things, but it's nothing too robust. They don't have any room for rooms, so it's not necessarily an inn.
Okay.
And then there's a little storage closet, sure.
Okay. While out there, she's dressed kind of dark. Seeing as how she doesn't want to stand out so much, she's going to take her black robe off, turn it inside out, and let the more cream, natural color robe on the inside kind of stand out, so to try to blend in with folks a little bit more. And yeah, so she's going to take care of that. The sleeves are long enough when it's set up like this where her hands are kind of covered, so her hands can't be seen. Yeah, everything else is still about the same, and she'll enter back in and go see the lady of the house about getting a seat or a table.
All right, when you walk back in and she sees you, she goes, "By the gods! How dirty was that cloak?"
Just needed a minute, and I appreciate you showing me where I could freshen up a little bit. I'm not from around here.
Oh, I'm not from around here either. She'll kind of point to a tattoo that's on her chest. It's a heart, and written in it, it says, "I left my heart in Pondwell."
Nice. Pondwell. I've been there before. It's an interesting place. I had to take it. You're from Pondwell? That's where you lived?
I'm one of the last remaining residents of Pondwell, yes.
And what brings you to Varelia?
While I was in need of a home, mine was burned down. And everyone I knew was gone, dead, or, well, there's really only one other person I know who's run away from Pondwell, but Yeah, I figured I'd come to Varelia, which is not too far from Pondwell, as you know, since you've been there.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe make a new start.
Yeah, I mean, so many people that I've met along the way have that same need for a new start. Cheers to that, and I'll
Drink to
I'll
that.
buy a drink.
She'll take a sip as well.
Mhm.
From under the counter, of course.
Of course. What have we got going on tonight? I see some fighting. Looks like, Mr. Pink Eye over there, and a full house. What is everyone here for? Just the drinks?
Oh, this is pretty typical, yeah. Everyone's just here after a long day of work. As you said, we all need new starts, and some people prefer a quicker route to a fresh evening. No, nothing on the books tonight. If you're looking for a show, you'll probably want to go somewhere else tonight. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Just taking in the local ambiance. And I will introduce myself as Rose to her.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Rose. I'm Ellie.
Ellie. Nice to meet you, Ellie. So tell me, what kind of shows are there? And I'll keep drinking my drink and taking in the scene.
I'll tell you about the shows at the Crocodile, but first, I want to make sure you have a couple of drinks for me before I send good customers to another business. But, well, tonight we're in luck. The Fiddlefingers, he's playing tonight at the Crocodile.
And I'll cock my head at that, and I'll say, the Fiddlefingers.
Aye, Fiddlefingers himself. And she'll start kind of like mindlessly tooling with that another glass that she's now grabbed, and she's wiping it clean. She's like, funny thing about Fiddlefingers, he is the person that I mentioned, the only other person that I know who escaped from Pondwell alive. Yes, everyone else, fate's unsure, but Fiddlefingers and I, we ran off in the same direction. Not sure he noticed me, but I noticed somebody like that. A fawn with their horns all shaved down and whatnot. Strange sight. Of course, you wouldn't know him now. He looks quite different than he did back then.
You don't say. I wouldn't have known Fiddlefingers, from anything but recent descriptions. Plays.
Oh yeah, of course.
Such
As you know, and
interesting-
as you've seen, he has the long curled horns now, and the beard and the scraggly hair, of course. But
Mhm.
yes, when I saw him last in Pondwell, he was clean shaven, short hair, horns filed all the way down, maybe slightly growing a little bit.
Well, I mean, you must. I haven't been able to get this answer. I've seen a few of his shows, and always is introduced and presented as Fiddlefingers, but that can't be his actual name. Like, you must know what his real name is.
Well, I'm not supposed to say this. You didn't hear it from me, but I like you, and I like the way you look, and I don't feel like I'll actually tell anybody. But Fiddlefinger's actual name is Darren. But don't tell anyone I said that.
I won't. I'm a fan myself, so that'll be closely guarded. Since not too many people will have this information. That's amazing.
Oh my goodness. I should not have said that.
And I'll put a handful of gold on the table. So I'll take one handful away, and say that let's drink. Let's have another drink to our great Darren. To our friend here. That's right.
Our friend. Very well. And you guys will throw back your ales. Middle fingers.
Surely no one out there is telling my real name, what I used to look like, my social security.
Fiddlefingers, you are currently upstairs at the Crocodile. You got a pretty sweet gig. You haven't played here before, but there's a lot of buzz around you tonight. You're very excited for this gig.
Rightfully so. You know, I haven't even really been back to any sort of any kind of Havenite, citizenry or city or anything like that in quite a while. So I'm meticulously, going over my clothes, tuning me fiddle, just wondering what kind of show the people here would like to see. They seem a little bit more uptight than the normal riffraff I would maybe play for.
As you tune your fiddle here, you want to check to make sure the notes are all right. You play kind of an old, faithful, familiar song. What does it sound like for you as you kind of reflect on your last year of busking and escape from Pondwell?
It probably would flow a little bit. Like, it starts out kind of a little jauntier on the jaunty side. Lots of stops and starts again as I really get into the groove of it. But as it goes on, it almost ages. It slows down. It starts to become softer, more relaxed. And eventually, after I'm satisfied as much as I can be, it comes to a sudden screeching halt. Like, it's not supposed to end where it did, but that's how it worked out anyways.
All right.
If I was a musician in real life, I'd play it for you, I promise.
Start learning now.
Okay.
It's about time. Curtains to rise at the Crocodile. You start to head downstairs. You walk down the steps, you peek your head out from the behind the curtains, the blue and golden curtains that you are very excited you've heard about, but you haven't played here yet. As you look out and you see the house beginning to fill up, there's people everywhere, standing room only tonight. All of the tables, all of the chairs, on the tables there's halflings, gnomes, the smaller folk ready to watch. All the chairs are also occupied, drinks in hand. The wood that you see is this deep, beautiful mahogany. All the tapestries, decorations, cushions on these seats, they're that blue and gold, very reminiscent of Varelia itself. Looking out at the stage to kind of plan out your performance, it's T-shaped, so you are able to walk out into the crowd, to be kind of among the audience. The room is quieted down. You hear him. The lights start to kind of dim. What are you doing to prepare?
I'm shaking out the nervousness out of my fingers. I'm already starting to sweat, even though no spotlights or any performance has started yet, and I'm trying to clean off my forehead, trying to, make myself as presentable as possible. And I ready myself, take a couple deep breaths, and remember who taught me, remember how much practice I've put in, and I think I'm good to go. And I prepare my bowstring in the fiddle, and I wait until there's any kind of notice or signal for me to start my show.
looking over your fiddle as you go over your memories, and you kind of linger on each marking. You see the lily pad with a card beneath it. You see the shell with a shiny jewel, mushroom with a guitar, and finally the one you linger on the most as you breathe in deeply, remembering who taught you, coming to your calm, your center. You see the 4-leaf clover with a bowstring under it.
Never thought we'd make it this far, did we?
Curtains open. The audience is quiet, anticipating, and there's a moment of silence before you begin. What are you playing tonight?
I think I have a feeling that a lot of these, fancier folk are going to be used to some kind of almost classical or more traditional, maybe something along the lines you'd see in an orchestra or something type of music on the stage. Much more fancier than anything I could really feasibly play with my background so far. And I decide I'm going to give them something much different. Of course, I keep my hooves at the bottom of my legs, unshoed, uncovered. And as it's still quiet, I begin to roughly put my bowstring back and forth on the strings, creating this almost shrill, dissonant noise over and over, like a ee, and then it stops. And I use my hooves on this fine mahogany to create a bit of a percussion. It's almost like tap dancing. And I start to play if you can think of it as almost like a Devil Went Down to Georgia type of folky, lively performance as I start to skip down the shaft of the T, meeting everyone's eyes with a jubilant smile. And I just do a bit of a dance and a bit of a back and forth on the cross section of the T at the top, and hope that they like it as much as my folks would back home.
All right, roll a presence check. Do a presence roll.
You got it.
I'm gonna say because of the description, with advantage.
Oh, you got it. +2. That's going to be a 28 with hope. Good
God. Take that hope. You play the absolute best you have ever played. Your fingers are just moving along this fiddle. Your bowstring just gliding effortlessly. The tune, your mind isn't even tuned into the fiddle. You're not even thinking. You're in the zone. You're not here. You hear the loud, boisterous clapping, stomping, people cheering, rousing with you, drinking, slamming their cups down on the tables. And then finally, when you finish the last note, you hear everyone standing at this point, just finished dancing around, and they start screaming your name. "The Fiddlefingers! You rock!" Somebody in the back, they lift their shirt up a little bit.
I take a bit of a bow.
Flowers to you. There are people crying. They've never been stirred like this before.
I take a bit of a bow, my bowstring still in one hand, the fiddle going high, and I say, thank you, you're much too kind, really. You're very much too kind, but I appreciate the gesture. Thank you very much. Please, everyone, remember to tip your barmaids, but tip me a little bit more, just as a heads up. And I start to leave the stage.
All right. Nikta, you had made your way to the crocodile prior to this show beginning. Ooh. What are you doing? As people are taking their seats, there's people sitting on tables, standing around waiting, anticipating. There's still talking, still noise.
Okay. Yeah, I would have told Ellie that I'll give Darren her love before leaving. And yeah, so I'm at the crocodile before the show started, so I don't see Fiddlefingers. I'm just a part of the crowd. Yeah, would there have been? I guess my question is, what's the underground scene like in Varelia? Like, are there sly folk just hanging around?
I mean, you can find anybody and pretty much everything in any city.
Okay, I want to find a sucker, and give him a handful of gold to cause a scene in the crocodile.
All right,
Maybe
Make a plan.
maybe have him try to get on stage or something at some point.
Okay, make a presence roll.
Okay. $13 with fear.
13 with fear. So you do indeed find somebody a little shifty. They look a little shifty.
Okay.
Yeah, you tell them this. You offer them a handful of gold. Want you to get on stage at some point during this performance. You want me to get on stage, disrupt Fiddlefinger's performing. I
Yeah.
need a bit more than one handful of gold.
I'll tell you what. If you scare him and stop the show, then I'll give you another handful of gold.
No.
I'll meet you
I don't
out
work
back
like
after.
I get paid beforehand, or I don't do it.
Well, I'm giving you a handful now, and I'll give you another handful in what? 20 minutes? It won't take long.
Won't take long to use, but people here like Fiddlefinger. They hear
Like
his
little
music.
fingers too.
I could get in a lot of trouble for something like this.
I could find you a way out. I saw the guards heading the other direction, so there's a lull right now.
Your bag of gold there looks pretty hefty.
You know what?
You make it three handfuls of gold coin.
All right,
I'll do it.
I'll give you 2 handfuls once the job is done, and here's one right now.
We'll take the handful of gold coins.
All right.
All right.
So I leave myself with one more. So I'm inside waiting for this to happen, enjoying the show because I'm a fan.
You're watching. Are you joining in the celebration? Are you keeping low profile?
Yeah. I'm close to the front, maybe against a wall. Close enough to get on stage, but not out in the open.
Huh. So the performance, an amazing performance, the best you've ever seen by Fiddlefingers, whether it be in tavern, out on the streets, or the other places where you've seen him play that you go to on your off time. You're waiting for the moment, kind of hoping almost, I hope this guy doesn't interrupt this show. This is incredible. This is amazing.
Yeah, he could wait
This
a little
show-
longer.
Yeah, he can wait. The show ends. Fiddlefingers takes his bowstring. He bows, talking to the crowd, and he starts to walk off stage. And you look around frantically. Where is this guy?
Where is this guy?
Fiddlefingers leaves the stage. Curtains close.
I follow.
Follow Fiddlefingers.
Yeah, I shadow him just like I did the young people earlier.
All right. You Oh,
And I don't see the guy anywhere inside the establishment.
You do. Yeah, you do not. Looking
Okay.
around at this crowd, now that the lights are brought back up a bit, a little more candles lit, you don't see this guy.
Okay.
But
Okay.
you remember what he looks like.
Oh, I remember what he looks like.
Yeah,
Um,
you got that.
Okay. Has Fiddlefingers noticed that I'm here?
Unless you were the one taking your top off. Probably not, to be honest.
That was not me. That was not Necro. Okay.
I'll say because Fiddlefingers was so in the zone while he was performing, kind of lost in the excellent performance. I don't think he was scanning the crowd for specific faces,
Okay.
or able to, I would say.
Okay. So
So yeah, you start making your way through the crowd up towards the stage. You get up on the stage.
Fiddlefingers didn't come off the stage. He went onto the stage as the curtains were closing.
Yeah, he was on the stage
Okay.
curtain, and he, retreated back behind the curtains. Curtains have closed. So
Okay.
he's somewhere behind those curtains.
Okay. So I have an above table question. Backstory wise, I've been to a few Fiddlefingers performances, never really engaged with Fiddlefingers, and there's been kind of like a quiet acknowledgement of the patronage. So is this? I guess I'm asking both of you. Would this be with that established, or would this be kind of ahead of that?
Ahead of like your two's kind of relationship.
Yeah, that acknowledgement of each other.
This is all, going forward. Everything that's in our backstory is behind us. So,
Okay.
But yeah, you guys
Okay.
have seen each other at places, acknowledged existence and whatnot.
Okay. So then I will, I'll sneak onto the stage, and I'll just go, excuse me, Fiddlefingers.
I hear the voice behind me as I'm going behind the curtain, and I roll my eyes a little bit. I'm picturing in my head, after a little bit of an ego boost after all the show I just put on, that it is that some fangirl or something coming out from the crowd wanting an autograph or something more. If it's anything more than that, she's gonna have to pay me. So I poke my head out a little bit, get a read on who's talking to me, and I'm just like, yes, it's a little bit of an awkward time, but I have a second before I go back up to my room. Is there anything I can help you with?
Well, it's a bit of an issue. I overheard someone outside trying to get onto the stage with you or something. I don't know if anyone tried anything or if you see anyone strange about. I was worried that they might try and hurt you.
I mean, I think I caused a bit of a ruckus with everyone a little bit. I don't think I saw anyone with malicious intent coming up to me. Just seems like a lot of congratulations and adulage, to be honest.
Well, that's good. I know we haven't really spoken before. Rose.
And then you see him like kind of look at you a little bit, and he's like, "Wait a minute! I think I've seen you around. Yeah, you've come to about 3 or 4 of my shows all through Fanewick. I didn't expect anyone who comes to my Fanewick shows here, to be honest. Like, especially one who kept to the shadows and seems so reserved, like you."
I wasn't expecting to see you here either. It's
Oh.
a happy little surprise.
Trust me, I didn't expect me here either. I don't mean to brag, but I did get a little bit of a pile of gold for doing this show. I apparently got a little bit too big for my britches off in the Fanewick. I hesitated quite a bit. It sounded too good to be true, but I mean, after tonight, I don't know. I might have to come here and make my rounds every now and again to see if it keeps up this this flow.
Well, you certainly deserve it. I'd say your talent is worth 10 handfuls of gold at least.
Oh, thank you, Lassie. Thank you very much. That means the world to me.
Well, I mean, if you're good, then that's all right. I'm still worried because whoever that person was seemed pretty intense on maybe robbing you. They were trying to get some gold.
Robbing me? Well, was there anything specific that they did or that you saw, or do you just know this person to be a bit of a shady folk, or what kind of
They
thing?
certainly seemed kind of shady. But I mean, if all is well, then all is well.
So far?
Okay. Well, I could just leave it at that. I actually say that.
Well, I appreciate the warning. I really do, and the compliments. If you're still around for a while after I get freshened up in my room and taking some time to myself after a performance, I'd love to have a drink with you. If one Fane Wiki into another.
Sure, I can order us a couple of drinks.
Oh, love! I've got enough gold for the both of us. I've got too much for myself, to be honest. I'll get it for you. It's fine. But I will.
We'll buy each other some drinks.
Oh, I like the way you think.
As you guys are talking, the barkeep stumbles back behind the curtain and goes, "Fiddlefingers, you were amazing! Oh my God, I've never heard anyone play like who is this? I've never heard anyone play like this before. You have to come back as often as you can, exclusively at the Crocodile Fiddlefingers every night, forever. You have to come back. I've never made more money at this bar."
I'm very glad it was so lucrative for the both of us. Every night might be a little bit much, but I'll be sure to work something out between the two of us whenever it's a bit more business hours instead of these pleasure hours that we're about.
Oh, but of course. Well, if you're looking for pleasure hours, you might want to come outside of the stage and come drink, because everyone's waiting for you, Fiddlefingers.
Oh,
all right,
thank you.
well, you seem busy. I'll see you out there. And I'll stumble back out.
Oh, see, the fans, they're already gathering. It's incredible. But I'll give her a quick little bow, a little bit of a tip of the hat almost. Lady,
Well,
I will be out here in just a few minutes after I freshen up, put my things away, and then we'll have that drink. Hopefully we're not too interrupted too many times, And
Okay.
I will, if she has nothing else to say, I'll go behind the curtain.
okay. Yeah. I'll see you in a few. Yeah. I'll wait till he goes behind the curtain.
Meanwhile, while I'm behind the curtain, I will drop the absolute mask that I was putting on that entire time, and sweat starts to pool on my brow and my temples at the mention of someone trying to hurt me, or someone possibly knowing who I was, or something along those lines. And I will silently as I can, freak the fuck out, knowing that this was the exact reason I thought this would be a bad idea.
I'm still on the other side of the curtain. Do I catch any of that?
Give me an instinct roll, Nick.
7 with fear. I rolled a 2 and a 3.
7 with fear. No, he seems like he's in great spirits, and now he's gone behind the curtains and almost as if he disappeared. It's quiet. I mean, there's a lot of noise in the crocodile right now, so
Okay.
kind of hard to hear over that.
Okay. And the stage here is a short stage. It's not like a stage. It's just a little raised dais.
I mean, I'd say it's probably like 3 feet, like raised
3
3
feet.
feet.
Okay. I'll sit on the edge of the stage. Do I see that guy?
You do not.
Okay. All right.
I'll take just a few minutes I promised my new friend here. I try to dry myself off as much as I can. I replace the purple cloak that I always wear around me. Throw it in the provided by the wonderful establishment here bin to get washed later. And I take one of their much fancier, probably stark white, which is not going to stay that way for long if I drink too much, cloak instead to cover myself. And I focus and I think to myself, I've got to figure out who might know about me. I've got to get information, and if I can't get anything that satisfies me, I've got to leave town and possibly never come back. And then I head out the door, down to the bar, to meet my new friend.
Okay.
Possibly new enemy. Oh!
Okay.
Did you tell me your name?
I presented myself as Rose.
Oh yeah, Rose. Rose! And you see me
So-
come from back up.
All right, you guys do spend the next couple hours, drinking, partying, hanging out. The scene kind of begins to slow down. People start trickling out of the crocodile. It's late now. There's not too many people left, but Nikta and Fiddlefingers, you guys have gotten to talking and found some common ground. Both of your deceptions kind of taking a back seat, and you find out that, you're kind of a cool person. They kind of resonate with them. But now that you're the last few people in this bar, you think maybe it's time to let the mask crack just a bit.
I have me a cup of ale, a mug. It's about halfway finished, probably around me third or fourth one.
Right.
And you notice Fiddlefinger's demeanor change just a bit, where this man that you was with this entire time was more slouched, almost concaving into himself, meek in appearance, tired, weary-eyed. My eyes steal a bit as I look towards you, almost giving you a cockeyed look, and I sit up straight and I say, Rose, I have something very specific to ask you.
And I'll say, ask away.
Are you telling me everything, the whole truth about the man you think was going to do something to me in my show?
Well, I mean, I probably know a little bit more about this man. But I guess the proper question is, what do you want to do? And why are people after you?
Can I make some kind of... In my head, what I want to have happen is Rose, quote unquote, feels almost the very familiar prick and sting of my small dagger pressed into her through both of our cloaks. And I'll ask again, do you know more than you let on, Rose? And I look you right in the eye.
I shrug and I say, I'm in the business of knowing things, Fiddlefingers. And by the way, Ellie sends her love.
That definitely takes me back a bit. You see me physically almost recoil at bringing up someone by name from a past like that.
I had a great conversation with her earlier. We're both fans, and I mean that very legitimately. But there are people that aren't fans of yours, and I don't quite know why. And I was hoping that you could elaborate on that. Yeah, if you can elaborate, then so can I.
He sits there, thinking a bit. Do you know what the punishment for any kind of desertion from the Haven military is?
I can probably think about, how much they would dislike that.
You won't have to. It's public execution. They hang you from the stockades by your neck. And they have all kinds of sizes because they know all of the different races that might have a problem with them after things that they've done. And I would fit quite comfortably on multiple of them. And if you're going to stay as vague as that, then I'm going to give you only these specifics. I was a different man at some point, both in look, profession, and demeanor. So if you truly have no harm meaning to me, then I'll put this dagger away.
I'll lean back, still quite relaxed, even knowing that he has a dagger. I put my dagger on the table. It's a black blade, sheathed. Well, it's sheathed in bamboo. And there's a bit of a dangly bit at the end that looks like a blue gem. I don't know that you'd think it was a dagger, but expose it, close it, and just say, I'm a fan. I love your music. It quiets something in me. And I'm not quite ready for that to stop. What does the name Barris mean to you? Anything at all?
After you show your dagger, very relaxed, you feel me put mine away, and you hear me, put it back in its sheath. All of this done with much more efficiency and almost robotness, something I've done a million times, something that's not normal for most musicians you've probably, if ever any, you've come across.
Mm-hmm.
No, Rose. And every time I say your quote-unquote name, you can tell that I'm kind of pushing you, Rose. I don't know that name, to be honest.
Well, let's just say that someone named Barris asked somebody to find you, and asked that same somebody to... I have to double check. Am I just supposed to bring him in? Alive? Yeah. Okay. And yeah, let's just say that same someone named Barris contracted someone to bring you into Haven. And let's also say that somebody might be willing to say no. What say you to that?
A lot like this job, it sounds a little bit too good to be true, considering the bind that someone would be in, considering that someone's line of work.
I have friends. I am used to taking care of myself. And it wasn't very hard to find you.
Well, after you talked to Ellie, I imagined it wouldn't be. That girl couldn't keep a lid on any more than a child with a candy tin.
Oh, I don't know Ellie that well. I had a lovely time with her.
As if you're summoning her with your words, Ellie rushes into the bar.
And I'll
She has
put my dagger away.
a worried look on her face as she sees the two of you sitting together. Kind of, she's regretting giving up important information, but you also see in her hand, she's clutching an open note, a letter. She walks straight up to Littlefingers, and she says, "Littlefingers," as she glances at Nicta, because she's not sure she knows or she doesn't know that you know. She knows you're Darren.
There's a lot of knowing going on.
Littlefingers, I got a note. I heard something. It's about Clover. They have her. She's alive. She's in New Haven.
Littlefingers does not move or respond for a little bit. And then he turns to Ellie, tears welling in his eyes, and with a very harsh tone that Ellie probably is not used to much at all, I look her and I say, "Don't you dare give me hope, Ellie. If you give me this information and it's any kind of wrong, I don't know what I'll do. I'm not saying even against you. I'm just saying this information better be at least somewhat reason enough to tell me out loud anything about Clover and her being alive."
I don't know. You can't know nowadays what's true, what's not. But even if there's a chance that she's alive, I know you were close. How we all love Clover. She might be there alive. She's not alone. She's not my friend. Apparently, Varys kept a close leash.
I put out a shaken hand towards Ellie. "Give me the note, Ellie. Let me read it myself."
And Nicta is just doing some mental math. The name Barrett was mentioned, and again, seeming like someone that Fiddlefingers loves is in danger, and it pulls at the heartstrings a little bit. But still just taking it in.
Table. That is not a question. Does anyone else think the music is a little loud compared to our DM? I'm having trouble hearing him every now and again.
Yeah, I was having a little bit of trouble. I heard Barris, but not quite the whole context.
I'm so glad it's not just me.
All right, I turned it down a little more. I think this particular track may have gotten extra loud because I didn't touch the volume.
Gotcha. So the details about Varys. What did Ellie tell me, and what Rose here heard?
She told you that Clover is currently in New Haven, and Varys has kept a close watch on her, has kept her nearby.
Gotcha. And whenever I read the letter that she gives me, does it say basically that? Is there any other information that she might have left out?
No, it's pretty much just basically that. It's it's not a robust letter. It's not even signed. Whoever wanted to get this information out did so anonymously.
Gotcha. I take some time to think about New Haven as a whole, what it would mean for Clover to be there, and for me to go back, when I already thought being here was big enough of a risk. And I hop off of my stool that I'm presumably sitting on, stumble a little bit after the few drinks I've had, and I give Ellie the biggest, warmest hug I can. And I say, I'm very sorry for yelling at you, Ellie. You just know how it is. And I give her a very soft kiss on the forehead. And I pat her on the shoulder, and I say, I'm sorry I didn't play any shows at your local place. I know we talked about it, but times are hard. And I give her how many handfuls of gold, or however much do you think I would have gotten for playing at a prestigious show like this?
You got probably 3 bags.
Oh my god.
You got paid pretty well.
And as I keep my hand on her shoulder, I give her 1 entire bag. I say, Ellie, I want you to take that note, and I want you to burn it. I've already memorized all I needed to about it, and I don't want you having any kind of anything to do with this. You've already gone through enough, and you've already done enough for everyone around you. And I want you to take this money and invest it in yourself. And with a trembling lip, I say, and until I figure out anything about Clover, I don't want you to talk to me ever again.
Okay. I understand. I'll make sure this goes to good use. I'm sorry to stir up old memories. And as she turns to walk away, she'll stop for a moment, hesitate, and look back and say, Darren, none of this is going to end or truly be behind us until Barris is taken care of.
Yeah.
I'm sorry it has to be you. And she'll turn and she'll walk out.
I'll take a big sigh, and then very suddenly and almost embarrassingly realize that Rose has been watching us this entire time, and I'll quickly wipe my face and turn back, and I'll say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about you having to see all that. We're having a bit of a discussion about eerily similar things, you and I, Rose. And then I'll ask, do you know anything about someone named Clover?
I honestly do not. It sounds like Barris is really after you. And if he actually does have this Clover person, it must be using her as bait. And I'll, put a hand against my chest if his other methods don't produce results. And I'll say, I don't really care about gold. I have other things that are more important to me, and family is one of them, even found family. What are you going to do?
Firstly, I'm going to apologize for lying to you. I know this Barris very well. Possibly more well than anyone else knows him. But I'll save that, concrete evidence until I figure you out better. But I know he's a piece of shit. I know he's ruthless. And I know he cares very little for anyone found in Fenwick or even in the vicinity of it. So I know my Clover's very, very much in danger right now, and the only thing I think I can do is do my best to figure out where she is and go back to a place I didn't think I ever would again.
Well, I know a thing or two about that. I will say, again, your artistry is one of the few pleasures that I've had in this part of the world. And I'm not going to be the person that sees that end or that makes that end. I know I'll have to go back and face Varys. Is it Varys with a V or with a B as in boy?
B.
With a
B.
B. To be
Varys.
honest, player to player, I heard Varys, and I was like, I don't know any Varys.
I was
So
like, maybe I heard it wrong.
I accidentally lied to you.
No worries. And I'll say, I mean, there's a chance. There's a chance that we could recover your friend and resolve this conflict with you and Barris. And I'll just kind of say, just putting it out there, I do a lot of different kinds of work. And usually it means getting my hands dirty. And giving names that are temporary, because I'm never in places for very long. But it seems like you need to be in New Haven. And it seems like I have unresolved work in New Haven. And if we both need to be in New Haven, maybe we go together.
He nods slightly, and then more aggressively, realizing that he's probably going to need as much help as he can get. And with a bit of a worried but steely sigh, I put out my right hand in a shaking manner. Partners in crime, then, I suppose?
Yeah. I mean, our paths align. And like I said, I'd be sad to see your music stop. Especially after that ditty tonight. What do you call that?
Well, it's honestly, you kind of hit the nail on the head with the word ditty. It's a lot of my music, to be honest with you, is freeform. I barely have any real, quote unquote, real music written down. My sheet music is things that feel foreign to me, that I know how to play and I can play them well, but I just get the vibe and the feeling of the room and the people around me, and I just let the music go through me. A bit of a ditty.
That must be it. Some of the most beautiful things are naturally occurring. Yeah, let's see where this takes us. One condition.
All
I
right.
want to hear some more ditties along the way.
Oh, you try and stop me. And seeing as she's not probably the most comfortable taking my hand, I'll gently pat her on the shoulder as I walk past up to my room to prepare myself for the journey ahead. And I will spend one of my grace tokens I've got here to use inspirational words after our talk, and you will gain one hope.
Cool. I'm maxed out on hope.
Nice.
And at some point I'll mention to you, yeah, I was trying to get this guy to cause a scene. Him is not showing up probably saved his life, and he's a handful of gold richer, so good for him.
A couple of us making money out here.
You're telling me.
And
All right.
as I said, go up.
All right. And with that, sorry, technical. All right. Mycelia and Reishi, after days of traveling through the Witherwild from the Moonwater Fen, you finally crest over a ridge, find the break point from the Witherwild, and you've entered something that you're not really accustomed to seeing. It's a bit of a clearing. It is striking for you to see. What you're used to, this abundance of nature and life surrounding you, just never hearing silence. You're surrounded by it right now. You emerge from the Witherwild, and now you hear nothing for a moment. Just the wind whistling behind you. You look around, ashes, cinders, burnt trees everywhere. And in the distance, you see, about a mile away from you now, the massive walls of New Haven. A city that you've not been to before, but somehow you've seen accurately depicted in your dreams that you've now had for a few weeks.
There it is.
She'll sigh, and as you said, we're now nearing the gates of hell.
Should we just go in the front doors?
We're a mile away. Can we see the front?
Yeah,
I'm asking as a player. I'm sorry.
Do we
Sorry, what was
see
that?
people going in and out, or does it look like...
So, what you also see as you're looking towards the gate, towards the city, off to probably the west, the northwest now, you can see that there are quite a few fires actively burning right now. There are Haven soldiers that seem to be having a constant battle with this encroaching border of the Witherwild. Beyond this line of burning, there are farmland. There's houses for these farmers. Are you guys approaching the gate, or just observing from a distance? Okay, yeah, she's saying that you guys are probably observing from a distance rather than actually approaching the city.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be almost putting myself between her and the city, kind of just observe, but still, it's scary. You know, we know this place because we've seen it, but it's like we've never been here. We know we've never been here, especially in a place like this. So we're observing everything. We're observing how people are acting, entering and exiting, how the guards are acting. Like, really, my plan is to kind of observe, and if maybe possibly seeing if there's an availability for me to fly above the walls and get in.
So what you can see from here, you're not seeing a lot of traffic going in and out of the gates. There are quite a few beings working in the fields right now. Hard to tell, specifics from the distance you're at, but you do see quite a bit of people in the kind of like outskirt farm area of Haven itself. If you were to attempt to fly into the city, you would certainly be seen by somebody.
Okay. So what's the plan, sis?
I guess let's just go in the front gate, see what we can find from inside the city.
Sounds better. Sounds not better, but sounds at least like a plan. So I say let's go for it.
All right.
As you approach, walking through the farmlands, the houses, you're passing by these fields, and you see a lot of fungrel, galapa, ribbits, people that are more common probably in Fanewick. You know that when the Witherwild came, it displaced a lot of people who lived in the bogs around the Faintwick forests. You weren't sure of their fate, but there are a lot of Fungro, Galapa, and Ribbits working these fields right now. As you are walking by these fields and these crops, you see, some food, you see some corn, some grain here and there. Closer to the wall, what strikes you is it's a much smaller field, being tended to by mostly all Fungril. It's just a field of crimson flowers. Something that you do recognize living in the forests. You're not accustomed to seeing a field of these flowers. They're one in 10,000, you would probably say. They're rare. And you can see right now.
This is the crimson. The 1 in 10,000 thing. Is this? What are you talking about? The crimson, Lady Crimson, whatever.
Yeah, from what you can tell, this is the Crimson Lady's Veil.
Okay. So my character would obviously automatically have this because she's obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So this is what the people are farming?
They are, yeah. There is a field of these flowers currently. There, and it's set up very organized, so it's definitely some kind of farm.
What do you think they're farming those for?
Oh, I can tell you exactly what they're farming. She, like, her wings start fluttering, but they're fluttering like almost like she's happy. That's the flower I've been telling you about. That's the I'm sorry, whatever it's called, the Crimson
Lady's Veil.
Crimson Lady's Veil. That's the I used to sorry, I cannot remember what the treant's name is that I cured with it. That's the flower that I used to cure. Christ, I'm sorry, I'm trying to look it up real quick. Where's my story?
It's Vogral.
Oh, Vogral. That's the flower I used to cure Vogral. I think they call it serpent sickness. I'm not sure. I don't. And then her. You just kind of see the thought leave her head as she's just been transfixed on what they're doing to try to get the flower.
Oh, so they're trying to cheat nature and grow these flowers themselves.
That's what it looks like. I would almost sorry, I hate that I keep saying like. I would basically still react to whatever she's saying, but like I am ignoring her basically. Like I am so transfixed on what's going on. Like I'm trying to plan a way to try to get to these flowers to at least get one to try to harvest one or two is kind of thing.
How many fields are there of these flowers?
Of these flowers, from what you can see, just one.
Just one. And you said it's like smaller than the other one? Than the other?
Yeah, it's a smaller field than what you see from the actual crops.
How high are the flowers?
Not very high. Probably like
I'm 2 foot tall. How much if I walk through the field of flowers, how big would
the flowers are a foot high.
Okay, so they're about waist high.
Kind of forget that we're that short.
Yeah. She's little.
Okay. We can inquire about these once we get into the city. See if this has anything to do with our vision.
So as you approach the gates,
I am still staring at the field like she's driving. She's basically having to drag me.
Okay. 2 Haven guards approach you. They're wearing black plate armor. They have red Morian helms, like a Spanish conquistador kind of hat. The Haven crest emblazoned on their chest. State your business. Just tell us why you're here.
We're here to visit, sir. Just see some old friends in the city.
Give me a presence roll.
Oof. For sure? You don't want, like, instinct?
I'm pretty sure I want presence.
I'm going to... Go ahead.
10?
With
Hope.
10 with hope. Okay, take the hope.
Is that technically an action roll?
Yes.
Does it succeed? Because if it does not, I can change it to a success.
Oh, with an ability, huh?
Yep.
All right.
I can use Witch's Hope or Witch's Charm when I or an ally within far range rolls a failure on an action roll. I can spend 3 hope to change it into a success with fear.
Okay, it was indeed a failure.
Okay, so I will use that too. I will spend the 3 hope to use that to a success with fear.
Thank you.
All right.
This is my first time talking to a Havenite. I'm very nervous.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah,
I mean,
success with fear definitely makes sense.
your voice was a little shaky. This guard wasn't even that suspicious, but they obviously saw through the deception. They knew that you were not here for vacation to see friends, but there's like a slight what color would flicker? What magical flicker would we see over this guard's eye as you charm him?
We'll make it kind of a forest green.
Okay. So like a quick forest green just kind of flashes over his eyes. I look at you and say, huh. Don't get a lot of visitors nowadays. All right. Well, still have to check you for infection.
Of course. Yes.
Fluff. We always get checked for infection. Go ahead.
As you're being ushered over to being, patted down, you see above you on the on the rafters, there's more Haven guards. They all have crossbows in hand. They're not pointed at you, but they are looking at you. And you also notice when this guard came up to speak to you, he did not have his hands on his weapons either. They pat you down. They feel no sign of infection. They do have a little curiosity in Mycelia's wings because they are very hard. What's going on with these?
Not your sickness that you're looking for. It's a birth defect, if you will.
I know about that. And he'll lift up his hand, and he only has 4 fingers, and he was like, I was born like this.
I'll scream. Just kidding. Be like, sorry to hear. Glad you're okay.
All right. Enjoy your vacation. You're entering through the west gate. If I were you, I would not spend time over here. It's not very fun. Though it's not very fun in any of New Haven at the moment.
Okay.
But, all right.
Where would I go where many people would be?
Well,
get some information,
there is a gathering currently in the city center.
Okay.
So you might want to find your way there.
Just to the center?
That's just you. Just follow this road, and then when you see lots of other roads branching off of this road, you've found the middle.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
All right. Sorry, I don't get to talk to a lot of people. We don't get a lot of foot traffic here.
Same. I don't talk to a lot of people.
That I can tell.
Clearly.
Right.
All right. we're just gonna keep walking, and I'm going to whisper to Reishi, maybe I shouldn't do so much of the talking.
Rishi looks and quickly nods and goes, "Yeah, I think you're right. That seems a little odd."
Yeah.
As you're walking through the gates now, too, after that conversation, this side of New Haven, I mean, you've not heard many good things about New Haven. You're not really around a lot of people who are fans about it. You at least have heard that it's very different than Fanewick, than most of Fanewick, I should say. It's
I wouldn't
very...
wouldn't Fanewick be more like a town and this would be like a city? Like the
Yeah, Fanewick
like,
definitely has like many more scatterings of like towns, villages, and whatnot. With the exception of, well, Varelia is not Fanewick, but it's in Fanewick. But yeah,
so like Rishi would basically have the look of like Harry Potter when he walks into the Diagon Alley, kind of like wide-eyed, just kind of staring at everything.
Yeah, I mean there's very tall buildings.
Yeah,
you definitely
I mean, we're used to two-story hovels, and this is tall buildings, and
yeah.
She is taking it all in and in wonderment, kind of disgust, but there's wonderment too. This is not natural. This is man-made. Where she believes what she like trees and large huts made out of trees and mushrooms and caves, and this is not right. She'll kind of even point that out and whisper that. Still amazement, but you can. There's a stain in her voice about it.
Yeah.
All right. As you are walking and you are taking this all in, you're amazed even by this. Well, whereas someone who's from New Haven would see this now as a ruin, a shadow of its former self. The streets are pretty barren. There's not many people at all. Although you do see many statues. Strange statues that are elves, giants, humans, fauns, goblins, every kind of person that you know of, frozen in fear.
Okay, with what I know from treating Vorgol, and what little bit I've done, what little bit of research I've done about serpent sickness, what I know this is because of serpent sickness.
Yes.
Okay, so I will kind of, as we're walking, I'll kind of nudge Marcelia and say, "Yeah, this is what serpent sickness does to people. It's crazy. It's wild. Look at that. They're basically statues."
They look like they're in so much pain.
I can only imagine. Isn't it delightful? She'll kind of giggle.
The stores around you, there's a lot of these structures they're boarded up, they're vacant. There's a lot of just burn marks that you walk by as well. Former buildings or homes that were just burnt, reduced to ash and cinder. And while there are a lot of statues, from what you've heard and what you know, the little that you know of Haven is that there are a lot of people in Haven. They outnumber Wicklings, but there's not as many statues as you might expect.
I'm gonna say, looking at their home.
So would I piece together the ashes and the burning? It is the same thing as the vision I saw from when I communed with Necta.
You connect the dots, or at least you create the connection. Yeah.
Okay, I'll pass that along to Marcelia also. That the ashes and burning is what happens after the sickness leaves.
Okay.
What were you gonna say?
I'll say, seeing New Haven in despair like this almost makes me feel bad for the sickness ruining people's lives, but at the same time, look at our home and what they did to it. I almost feel bad. I don't.
It seems they brought it on themselves. Because what they've done to Necto, what they've done to the world, this seems to be the gods' retribution.
It's about time.
Maybe we should get moving. Maybe there's a nicer part of this city. I hate to say that, but
yeah. Do we see, is there a lot of foot traffic other than the statues?
Not a lot.
No.
You still do see some children playing. No statue in their direct vicinity. You see some people, there's still some shops open. There's still some business over here. There are fungrel walking from the field of the Crimson Lady's Veil field, carrying a bundle. They have a basket full of flowers, but there's not a whole lot going on this road.
Okay. I kind of feel like walking by each statue, Mycelia would turn and look at their faces. Even though it hurt to look, she feels that she needs to acknowledge their existence and not pretend that they're not there, because they were once people. As much as she dislikes where they're from, she feels bad that that's how they ended their lives.
As you continue down this road, you start to see a crowd forming in the distance there. You're coming to the end of this road, what you assume is the city center. Kind of like what the guards said, there's many different branches of road coming off this area, and there's a raised dais here that this crowd is standing now in front of. We are here at the base of Shunosh, his neck that leads up to his head. We are at the base, and his head is looming over us. It's massive, and he's looking down at everybody. Under, at the base of his neck is where this Capitol building would be, or at least what you assume would be the Capitol building. It's very ornate. It's definitely the nicest building here. It's the best built. There's very large doors that lead straight out and onto this dais, and this crowd is forming here. As you approach this crowd, you see the doors start to open, and out walk a group of people dressed in very fine clothing, a couple of them in very fine, ornate armor. You see a very old Galapa walking. He has robes, golden chains, and they kind of clink as he steps. He has a book in one arm, kind of shuffling his feet out. His other hand is on a cane. He's walking out. You see a small simian, about 2.5 feet tall. They have a large white mustache that dangles down almost their full length, and they're wearing nice fine leather. Even from this distance, you can see he's armed to the teeth. He's got a bandolier of daggers on his chest, and he's got it's a small rapier for a normal person, probably a dagger for Therian. It's definitely a dagger, but for this simian, it's a pretty large rapier. And he's walking out. There's a girl probably in her young 20s. She looks Qatari mixed with maybe something else, but you're not sure. She is in a wheelchair. She is pushing herself along. There is a fawn, also in very nice, fine purple robes with a gold inlay. And they have, their hands are kind of met together and they walk like this very thoughtfully, kind of lost in their thought. And then they're being led by someone who is in very fine armor. You see a very tall Qatari walk out. He has a great sword at his hip in a black sheath. He has red and gold armor on that is extremely ornate. His shoulder pauldrons have kind of a black spike at the end on each side. He has an eye patch over his right eye. It is a Qatari who is very lion-like in his
Is this
appearance.
the Qatari? Is this the Qatari? Does this appear to be the Qatari that we saw in our visions?
And you recognize someone that you've never seen before, but you have. For weeks and weeks, the Qatari, the person who plucked the eye out of Nicta, the shepherd of the seasons, your most revered god, the one who is at fault for all of this, beginning the Witherwild, possibly killing Nicta, it seems, creating all of this, bringing this pain and hurt upon his own people. You see the Qatari from your dreams. Archmage Phylax. And that's where we'll end tonight.